Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I have about 5 topics that I will discuss in this short video. 1. The European Union placed the 14th round or package of sanctions against Russia. Terrorist attack again in Russia, committed in Dagistan. That's a Caucasus province in the Russian Federation. I will compare and contrast just the titles of ABC News and Sputnik on how these guys report that awful incident. The Ukrainians used attack MS missiles on Crimea, and civilians were killed and injured on the beach in Sevastopol. About 151 civilians were injured. 5 people as of now were killed, including 3 children. The Russians blamed that on the US because the Ukrainians used a attack MS missile. They used 5 and 1 exploded in mid-air with cluster munition, which is, they say, against the international law. The Russians summoned the American ambassador to Moscow to tell them that you were actually involved 100% into this one. I covered this issue in a video that I posted a minute ago. So let's see what else we have here. Well, let's go and start with the beginning, which is Sputnik. European Union Council approves 14th package of sanctions against Russia. What's one of the definitions of madness, insanity? It is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. These guys are at the 14th package of sanctions, and their economies, the guys who placed the sanctions on the Russians, their economies are going down. Russia's economy became, if I remember correctly, the 4th in the world. Well, what do you want? Imbeciles? No, I don't think they're imbeciles. I think this is a very smart, coordinated move done by the financial systems, military-industrial complex, and energy sector in the West, or global, the guys that have us by the balls. The EU Council said on Monday that it had approved the 14th package of sanctions against Russia. The Council adopted today a 14th package of economic and individual restrictive measures dealing a further blow to Russian President Vladimir Putin's regime and those who perpetuate his illegal, unprovoked, that's a lie, and unjustified, that's a lie, war of aggression against Ukraine. When I came out with, finished my investigation, you have to say over there, during the course of the investigation, no evidence or insufficient evidence was found to support the allegations. When I first started that investigative job, they said, don't use no evidence was found, because there is some evidence. Always there's something. Rarely there's no evidence. So I switched into, during the course of the investigation, no evidence was found to support the allegations, into insufficient evidence were found to support the allegation, or sufficient evidence were found to support, a preponderance of evidence was found to support the allegation. There you go. If you find a preponderance, which is 51%, not beyond any reasonable doubt, that's a different level. That's 99%. Now, here you have these words. Illegal, it's either illegal or legal. It's not in between, almost legal, almost illegal, no. Unprovoked, 100%. Nothing provoked, nothing. And then you have unjustified, again, unjustified. You can't justify it. I can fucking justify a lot of things that some other people say, no, that's unjustifiable. Is NATO presence on a neutral country to Russia's doorsteps justifiable for Russia to try to talk to the Americans? Hey, pull back? Yes. Did they try? Yes. What did the Americans say? Well, you. And that's unprovoked, because you bring your military installations CIA bases by my doorstep, but Ukraine is neutral, right? According to 1994 Budapest Memorandum. But hey, what do you want? And then you overthrow a government in 2014, right? No problem. Unprovoked and unjustified war. Thank you very much. If someone comes close to me, too close, back off. If you don't smack, you smack me unprovoked. I don't give a shit. All right, next one. Let's see what this guys. The new package expands personal restrictions to include 116 individuals and organizations, I'm quoting, responsible for actions undermining or threatening the territorial integrity, sovereignty, and independence of Ukraine. The statement read, remember when a sovereign independent country, which was at that time Yugoslavia, because it was Montenegro together with Serbia, was bombarded by NATO, that was an illegal bombardment. Nothing? No? All right. Those guys started the first war in Europe after the Second World War. It was not Russia, it was NATO. So, off. All right. Next one. And let's see what these guys are saying here. And I'm quoting, in order to ensure the EU facilities are not used to transship Russian liquefied natural gas, LNG, to third countries and thereby reduce the significant revenues that Russia derives from LNG sales and transport, the EU will forbid reloading services of Russian LNG in EU territory for the purpose of transshipment operations to third countries. Who's losing revenue? You two imbeciles. Jesus Christ. Anyway, here is, my friends. The EU has also imposed sanctions against the shadow fleet of Russia, specific vessels contributing to Russia's warfare against Ukraine. They, the Russians, Chinese, and the other bloc, the allies, the good allies, they will do this. They will create parallel institutions, you imbeciles, parallel insurance companies, parallel everything. They will say, we're not under your jurisdiction. You have no jurisdiction over our vessels. So you impose sanctions on you. You divide this world into two, which is great. Diversity in two is better than one, right? Monopoly. We have what? Nike and Adidas. Oh, we have Democrats and Republicans. And it's the best, the greatest democracy. Two options. I would like to buy this salami and this salami. No other options, but that's the best way. Diversity, two options. That's how we're told in America. Oh, we're the best in great democracy, but we have two options. Are you crazy? No, they're just baboons. Now, today's package will impose restrictions on accepting applications for registration in the EU of certain intellectual property rights. They sanction themselves. All right, let's go to the next article. Putin says that Putin's peace proposal for Ukraine remain valid despite the Sevastopol attack. So despite the fact that those guys destroyed civilians, beachgoers, sunbathers, 151 so far were injured, 5 dead and 3 children dead. So far. They say, well, we still have this. Why? Because that is Putin's peace proposal is based on Russia's 4 points or 5 points, depends how you look at them, of the military operation, special operation. They say we're going to attack unprovoked Ukraine to make sure this happened, this happened, this happened, and this happened, and this happened. And they said the same thing. We're going to denazify these guys. NATO will not be present over there. Ukraine will be neutral. We are going to take back, according to them, our territories, and you are out, NATO. Bye-bye. That's the Russians' peace plan. Next one. Unlike Zelensky, is like, we're good, they're bad, they owe us because we were attacked unprovoked. You know, those kind of generalities and truisms that apply to the Ukrainians too. But hey, no, only to the Russians now. Next one. Russian Foreign Ministry summons U.S. ambassador over attack on Sevastopol. The Russian Foreign Ministry said on Monday that it had summoned U.S. Ambassador to Russia, Lynn Tracy, to express a démarche in connection with Kiev's missile attack on Sevastopol. So here it is. It says Washington's action encouraged the pro-Nazi authorities of Ukraine to take military action will not go unpunished, the ministry said, adding that there will be response measures. The United States bears equal responsibility with Kiev for the missile strike on the civilian population of Sevastopol, the statement said. All right, it says, on Sunday, the Ukrainian armed forces attacked Sevastopol using US-made attack MS missiles with cluster warheads, 4 of which were shot down and 1 deflected and exploded over the city. The attack killed at least 4 people. The Russians, in another article, said 5, and injured more than 150 others, including 3 children so far. Next one. And this is the one with, and I'm quoting Sputnik, terrorists targeted 2 Orthodox churches, synagogue, police in Dagestan. So Orthodox churches, 2, 1 synagogue, 1 police department in Dagestan. Now that's the Caucasus. Remember what Putin told these guys about CIA provoking things in the Caucasus before? It's still on YouTube. You can still find it. When he said, I know these guys provoked in Caucasus garbage. And he was referring to then Chechnya. He said, those guys from agents, he said, I have knowledge of, not me, Putin, said, knowledge of US CIA agents being involved in provocation in the provinces in the Caucasus. They started again to destabilize. They are already trying Georgia, and they're already trying Armenia big time. And they will succeed to start a new garbage over there. And they will point towards the free people want this. The guys in Crimea cannot want anything. The guys in Donbass cannot want anything unless the Americans tell them, now you can go left or right. Right? Right. So this is how the Russians obviously reported this, and I'm going to read more about this terrorist attack here. They started with 2 Orthodox churches, and then comes with a synagogue, police in Dagestan. And I'm going to read you the ABC reporting, the title. 9 killed, including police officers, as attacks launched on synagogue, Orthodox church, singular, in southern Russia, officials say. Well, we all have our priorities, okay? So if I have here my children and someone else's children, and let's say something occurs negative or positive, I will mention my children first. Why? I love them. All right? So if something occurs, I come with what most important is. Let's say a terrorist attack occurs somewhere. I'm not going to say, well, those guys attacked that little shopping mall, and during that 3 tires were sliced, 1 windshield was broken, the wind blew like this, and then at the end I mentioned that about, 3,000 people lost their lives. No, I start with the 3,000 people, with the most important thing, and then I end up with the slice and blah, 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 blah. But these guys, ABC News, they know who their bosses are. So they start with, we can say, they started with police officers. Yeah. It's the same thing as with the Second World War. Remember the casualties? I know that you know only 1, maybe 2, but only 1 figure of how many people were killed in that specific thing. And you got the 6, If I ask you how many, gypsies were killed by the Nazis, you don't know, I guarantee you. Or how many homosexuals? You don't know. How many political prisoners? You don't know. But you definitely know the 6. 666 is the number of the Iron Maiden. Remember that song? Anyway, so the same thing here. You have to know who's who and who's important. Let's read the Russian article. Armed attacks in Russia's Dagestan. Khabib, Islam Makhachev. What are you doing, guys? Not them. They're good people. Armed attacks in... I don't think it was they were, I think, sponsored and pushed from outside. And when I say outside, I don't say Saudi Arabia, okay? much further. Armed attacks in Russia's Dagestan on Sunday targeted 2 Orthodox churches, a synagogue, and a traffic police post in the cities of Derbent and Makhachkala. Russia's National Anti-Terrorism Committee told Sputnik, adding that there was a church priest among the victims. And I'm quoting, this evening, armed attacks were carried out against 2 Orthodox churches, a synagogue, and a traffic police post in the cities of as a result of the terrorist attacks According to preliminary information, a priest of a Russian Orthodox church and police officers were killed. Law enforcement agencies are taking all necessary measures to search for and apprehend the criminals, the committee said. All right, so it says cocktail Molotov, the terrorists set the building on fire. That's what they did. And now we go to the ABC News, the one with their priorities. An apparent coordinated attack Sunday in South Russia has left at least 9 people dead, including 7 law enforcement officers, when gunmen wielding automatic weapons opened fire on a synagogue and an Orthodox church in 2 cities miles apart in Dagistan region, according to the regional minister of internal affairs. Got that, my friends? Yes, and we have another one. You want another one? The same. The attack in the Darbent city of the Caspian Sea unfolded around 6 p.m. local time, when multiple gunmen unleashed a barrage of automatic weapons on a synagogue and an Orthodox church and set fire to both houses of worship, according to the Russian National Anti-Terrorism Committee. Got it? Let's see what else we got here. And then they opened fire on the police car and set something else on fire. All right, so that's it, my friends. That's it. What can I tell you? Things are not going in the right direction for some of us, but for those guys who profit from this garbage, it goes straight in the right direction, unfortunately. And the sanctions will not work. I don't think they have any more sanctions to pull off their asses, and they sanction themselves. That's the first one. That's my assessment on that one. And then again, Putin says the thing over there will not will not change my peace proposal, because the special operation will continue, even though we were unprovoked and so on. The US ambassador was summoned, doesn't mean squat. And the guys say, what do you want? We gave them weapons. We're not participating, but I think you are. And then those imbeciles, I think, were activated by outside forces. I have a gut feeling. And since 51% of our population is entitled to have gut feelings when they bring as evidence, then I am also entitled to leave to the side facts, evidence, and material evidence, obviously, and have a gut feeling. And my gut feeling is that those guys were activated and coordinated, helped by the guys on an island, or the guys, because they're together, the guys, about, 8,000 miles away from Dagestan, if you go westward. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just. See you later, my friends.